right. Welcome, everybody, to the Conspiracy Wars. My name is Kyle.
And I'm Nathan.
Okay.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, another week by, another interesting week of different Trump news.
Yeah, it's always Trump. It's always Trump saturated.
Yeah, everybody, Trump saturated, I think is just the good way to put it.
You know, I've been thinking about it like more and more. And like originally when Trump came out as an option, I was like, something's off about, having him as a person. Like he's got to be part of some sort of secret societies or something like that. I mean, he's a super billionaire, right? And he's runs with all the top crowds. Yeah. I just assumed this guy's got to be in, some of those clubs and shit. And if that's the case, then, this has got to be some sort of setup.
My assumption was gang related.
Right.
Yeah.
But, well, it is kind of a gang. I mean, if you think about the deep state, the idea of that, and combined with the Illuminati and deep Freemasonry, the Jesuits, it all kind of ties in together. Those guys are warring amongst themselves too sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean, they've got like their top families, but it's all kind of secondhand information, that goes through. Like we've kind of seen the chain of command with the Clinton emails.
Oh yeah.
Like we should look those up sometime here on Clinton, it's Clinton Wiki or something like that. And it's it's got all the fucking an archive of all the emails from Hillary Clinton, and then you can keyword search things like pizza or whatever, right? And like see weird fucking emails, right?
Oh yeah.
But there's you literally type in Rothschild, you get a couple emails, right? And she never thought that she was going to be fucking anyone was ever going to be reading her emails, right? So it's like here she is like in an email talking about like, oh yeah. She uses first names, so you can't really, nail her for 100%, right? But she's like, oh, like Tony is going to be doing this, right? Obviously, Tony Blair. And like, I think we'll be able to, get them involved in this and that and whatever. And then, she's at the end of the email. She says like, let me know what penance I owe you. Ugh. For like, I'm not sure if I can get this done, but it's on me. Let me know what penance I owe you, like
anybody who says that to me, I'm going to get creeped out.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty strong wording. And then it's like, yours truly, Hillary. And it's like addressed to Evelyn Rothschild. That was like who the email was to.
Picture some guy saying that on the job site.
Yeah. But why is she talking to them in the first place, right? That's the question. Why like nobody's asking. Oh, she's just got a casual email where she's discussing foreign policy casually with the head of a bank. They're the head of like, what is it, like fucking Deutsche Bank or something like that. And of course secretly they're like the top shareholders for like fucking, Federal Reserve and all those people.
I always kind of assumed like that was going on.
Well, yeah, I know, but like to have it in an actual email, it's kind of like the all the Epstein stuff, where you like that there's some shady shit here. People from both sides, the left and the right, who are on the like farther sides.
Yeah.
Or I guess probably closer to the middle, I guess. But, the left and the right are coming together on this like no, like this is fucking weird, like
see
to say that, oh yeah, there's no files and all the footage is nothing important.
Yeah.
It's just porn.
But
that's what they're saying.
You got a good point about Hillary's emails. Nothing was done about that at the time.
No. And there was talk about, punishing her somehow, right? Like there was talks like, oh, she could be indicted for this. This is, like an actual arrestable offense. Like she could do prison time, people said. Right.
But nothing happened.
Right. Because nobody's actually going to bring up the case. Right. Because then, then your life's on the line. If you know anything about the Clintons' fucking body count. Right.
Well, yeah, they're implicated in the Epstein files as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but then they've got that Vince Foster thing, right?
Vince Foster?
Yeah, I think that was his name. There was a guy who worked for them,
Okay.
and he had access to like a lot of like sensitive documents for them.
Oh.
And then he was supposed to testify, or he was coming forth with some of this information, and he wound up dead in a park.
Oh.
And I think they ruled it a suicide, and he had 2 shots in his back.
That's creative.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was a suicide. I mean, we'll have to check that out, actually. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, it's pretty well-known fact now, right? Because it was at the time it was like, oh, this like guy, he's like really close to the Clintons, and they're like, oh, we're really sorry, you know. It's kind of like how Obama's fucking chef ended up dying on that boat a little while ago, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the Epstein lawyer, the one that got Epstein his deal.
He's dead.
Yeah, he just died.
Oh, okay. There was a guy
he was
too.
80.
There was his partner. Epstein had like a partner too that like they did some sort of banking Ponzi scheme in, and that guy ended up going to prison.
Oh, okay.
And he when he was going to prison, he was trying to cut a deal where he was like, this was all fucking Jeffrey's idea. Like, I was just like the guy running the bank, so I was gonna, you know, like,
Yeah.
obviously I'm involved, but like it was his idea, you know. And they were like, oh well,
Well,
you're going to jail, buddy.
the bigger, like, it's hard to say what the biggest part of the whole Epstein thing is. We want to say the child rape, obviously.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it seems like pretty concrete that he was most likely a agent, right? Like a Mossad agent and or a CIA asset.
There's that.
Yeah.
But on top of all of that, he's a money launderer. So,
But we know the CIA sells drugs and
Yes.
does all that kind of shit, and
Right.
then so who launders their money,
right?
right? They must have people that launder their money. Why fucking risk like doing it with like some criminals or whatever when like you've got a guy? He's like, oh, don't worry, we've got a CIA guy who launders our money.
So that's
Right.
that's what the worry is supposed to be, as I understand. That they don't want to just take the list and slap it down. Like, look, everybody, these people are evil.
Right?
They got something in them that they're not like us. They're not our kind of people. And if there is such an island, maybe they should all live on that island. And then we will use it to control our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to eat your vegetables? I'll send you to the island. You know that the Clintons are there. Woo! Yum, 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 yum. Would have worked with me. And lost the train of thought. Thinking about vegetables.
Ooh, veggies.
Ew, vegetables. Don't send me to the island of pedophiles.
Well, did you want to jump into the movie?
Yeah, we could jump in right away. Oh, yeah, that was my thought. There's a lot of pedophilia, but mixed in with all of that is a lot of laundering. So it is my theory that there is a group of people, one of them being Bill Gates. Like, I can totally picture him being there for nefarious purposes, sexually. But more than that, like, I have the most money out of anybody in the entire world. How do I hide some of this from the government?
Yeah.
And the own government is looking how to hide it from the government.
Yeah. Well, and then,
That's
if
crazy.
he was, I mean, which it seems like he was running some sort of like intelligence gathering operation, like at the very, very least on the low end of the scale, we could be looking at fucking, money laundering shit, right? Maybe that's why fucking Bill Gates is like, oh yeah, I didn't know that guy. It's because like he laundered a fucking lot of money there, and like that's jail time, right?
That's how they got to the top. And that's something that the people of the world, yes, we got to deal with the pedophilia stuff. But at the same time, we can't let that part go by the wayside, too, because that's just as big.
Mm-hmm.
We can't let there just be a small group of people that have all of our money and hurt our children. Like, that's bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of them. And I don't know how they're going to do that, but, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'll tell you something about it later. I got something about that.
Okay. Well,
jump into the movie.
How about Monica Lewinsky?
What about her?
Yeah. Is she not an asset?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never, you know what?
Criminal declaration.
Whoa. There we go. I've never heard anything about her being, involved, really. But actually, no. You know who? I'm trying to think who was talking to her. What's her name? That girl who got wrongfully convicted of that murder of her roommate in Italy.
Oh,
Amanda Knox.
Yeah.
Yeah, she said that she is friends with Monica Lewinsky, and like they've talked a few times, and like possibly even did a podcast together.
Oh.
Yeah, and she said like she had a lot of really interesting stories to tell, basically. But I think the idea is that like basically like people put her in there, like not like, oh, go in there and do this. It was more of a like, oh, we know that he's a hound dog, so if we like put this girl in there and like, hey, how would you like access to the president? And she's like, wow, I'm lucky.
Yeah. I need a. She's like, yeah. Just another Tuesday.
Well, I know they wanted him out. That's where it kind of comes back to like the warring factions of secret societies and these groups, because it's like, oh, like we all want the same thing, but like we want to be the ones at the top of the ladder. No, we want to be the top of the ones,
Yeah.
So they want their guy to be the one in, not the other team, right? Even though they're all fighting for the same thing. And once he's in, they're like, okay, let's start working together, make as much money as we can. They're calling each other, oh, hey, this stock's going to go down, this stock's going to go up, Now
let's play pretend a quick scenario that there's a Zionist, gangster group, and they got their strings pulling. It's that conspiracy theory.
That's the JDL.
Yeah,
Jewish
yeah.
Defense League.
And to not even try to put them towards like a people, it's a group. It's not like a certain religious group of people. It's a group. I want to, just so we don't get in hot water and we're clear. And say they were going to Bill Clinton and saying, yeah, we want this and that, and they were trying and they just couldn't get him. They got Epstein to do what he did. That only went so far, and then they tried with the Monica Lewinsky. It didn't knock him down. We're going to put Bush in there. Total left field. They won't think it's us. 9/11 happens under Bush right after, right? So all that seems to click in. Mm-hmm. If they couldn't get it with Clinton, okay, we'll put a guy in that will allow it. We'll find a way. And Bush sitting there reading the book with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
That was fishy. Everyone said it was fishy, and no one ever said anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. People commented on it and, criticized him. Like, why is he sitting there reading a book? Well, he should have got up and rushed out of there and said, sorry, kids. And, their excuse was he didn't want to, alarm the kids or anything like that. But he sat there for like 7 more minutes or something, right? And then, he famously had the book upside down, right? And they're like, oh, geez, like, you can't even fake it, right? But, like, as we saw in the last video, like, that was kind of almost on purpose, right? Because it's like, a Satanist, inversion of things, right? And it's a goat, too. It's a book about goats. The goat of Mendes.
Fucking metal. All right.
The land that the Romans had given back to the Philistines. How did they do it? In 1917, the British Earl of Balfour signed the Balfour Declaration, promising to give the nation of Palestine to Lord Rothschild and the Jewish Zionists.
There's the letter.
This criminal declaration was made even before the British had conquered the nation of Palestine at the end of World War I.
So it was already promising, like, oh, we're going to give you that
During
land,
World
but
War
they hadn't
II,
even got it yet.
American corporations supplied gas, money, vehicles, and weaponry to Hitler and the Nazis. By the end of World War II, the British conquered and turned the Muslim nation of Palestine over to the
Nazis.
Rothschild Zionists as promised. The Zionists populated the land with boatloads of Jewish refugees from Nazi concentration camps. By 1948, the name of the Muslim nation of Palestine was officially changed to the Jewish state of Israel.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Okay, bring up a second window in YouTube and see. I want you to see if this will pop up, or see if this will pop up. Oh shit! Now I'm losing my train there. What was it called? Shit.
Here's the
Oh yeah,
keyboard.
the transfer agreement. Yeah, here I'll do
There's
it.
the keyboard.
Okay, there's an old newsreel of this.
Edwin Black.
I don't know. 1933. We'll see. It's an old news clip. Okay, go down.
Should be this one, no?
Yeah. Okay, try that. Yeah, I think this might be it.
They have like Vaseline all over the lens.
This is what it used to be like. It's the
Coming
new.
out revealing secret negotiation between the Nazis and the Zionists in 1933, which allowed German Jews and their assets to go to Palestine. Rich Samuels joins us tonight with the
That was the
story of
Nazi
controversy
plan.
behind the book
Oh.
and the author's struggle to write it. Rich?
Deborah, with the rise of Adolf Hitler to power in the spring of 1933, the Jews of the world were faced with a dilemma. They could raise a cry of protest, a cry few would heed, or they could make a deal with Hitler, a deal that would bring a step closer their dream of an independent Jewish state. The choice they made was difficult and agonizing. This new book describes that choice. The book is called The Transfer Agreement. This is Israel a few days ago, the season of Passover.
Looks like fun.
And this is Germany 51 years ago, the blossoming of Adolf Hitler's springtime.
Not
Key
fun.
factor in the vitality of today's Israel, the book's author argues, was an agreement reached in 1933 between a group of Zionists and the man who would later try to kill every living Jew.
The great irony is that Adolf Hitler became the chief economic sponsor of the State of Israel.
It will be an argument
Whoa.
against, and a wrong argument against Zionists.
Some who lived through those times fear the response to this book. The parents of the author feared its very writing.
When your son came to you and said he was going to write this book, what were your feelings about his undertaking?
I told him he's not my son anymore.
Wow.
Why did you say that?
I told him I'm going to sit city.
As though he were dead?
That's right.
I told him I don't like it. Because as being a Jew, I didn't want something to uncover on my own people.
I was buried in a grave with
It made us look
people.
bad.
I was 7 times captured.
Edwin Black's parents are Holocaust
For
survivors.
what?
My parents never talked much about the Holocaust. Just little
Edwin
bits and
Black,
pieces.
to
That
fill
was
the
very
void
typical
left by the
of that.
silence
We
of
were a
his
typical
parents,
family.
has written this book, a dense, detailed chronicle of the early months of 1933. January 30th, 1933. Hitler becomes Germany's interim chancellor. The Third Reich has begun.
So this is like as soon as he gets into power. So a bunch of crazy shit hasn't
March
happened.
4th, attention is diverted.
It definitely seems weird that he'd go to power and go, you know what? Jews.
What's that?
It does seem kind of odd that Hitler would just go to power and go, you know what? Jewish people.
Well, that's what they're saying. Like, I mean, that's how he kind of rose to power, right? was because he was giving supposed, anti-Semitic fucking speeches and shit like that, right? Where he was like, the Jews are the reason that you don't have any banks, that can support you anymore, and why your houses are failing. The Jews have come in here and secretly,
See, my grandparents didn't report that.
Well, you know what? I've tried to go back and listen to speeches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just so I can point out all the stuff. Because I remember being a teen and wanting to read Mein Kampf because I never could find it back when I was a kid, right? But I was I want to read this because I want to see what all this fucking shit he was saying. Who can fucking, I think of it now, if someone stepped up and they were really good, a Tony Robbins or something like that, really good fucking convincing speaker, and they're like, oh, I really need you guys to just go out and kill some colored people or, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Oh, anyone that's disabled, we got to get rid of them. You guys are the best. I'm just there's no way I can ever think of having somebody stir me up enough that I would be, go to some crazy lengths of discrimination.
Now,
so I wanted to see what did he say? That was so just oh yeah, this and that and the Jews and this and that. And, I never find anything more than, or I never did find anything more than, just kind of comments in passing, and usually it wasn't so much he would talk about the Jews the same way anyone else would, this happens and the Jews are around or whatever, right? Kind of make more kind of implying as opposed to full on pushing it out there. But he a lot of times said Zionists, he's like, Zionists are doing this and Zionists are behind that. He uses the word Zionist.
Yeah.
And that's a completely different thing, right?
Right.
A Christian can be a Zionist,
Some are.
Yeah. Well,
some are.
Have you ever seen that news clip of Joe Biden, where he's like, I am a Zionist.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's he's said it on 2 or 3 different interviews where they're like, you've said before you're a Zionist. I am a Zionist.
Yeah. Yeah, Christians and Jews shake hands.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to be one and the same, worshiping the same book.
Well, because they, as we've brought up before, they need each other kind of to fulfill the prophecies, right? They're part of the one and the other. The Christians think that the Jews are the holy people, and that they're all the prophecies that come through. I mean, the books kind of line up. The Torah and the fucking Bible are pretty close, right?
Oh, they are. Well, the Torah is the first half of the Bible.
So they don't take the second half? What is it? It's only the
first half.
What's that? The Old Testament?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the Torah is the Old Testament.
Correct.
The New Testament is what Christians kind of cling on to more.
No, it's they cling on to both.
Well, they do, but I find a lot of times when I see preachers kind of talk about stuff, it seems to be all from New Testament, because you go too far in the Old and you're like, why is God killing kids and all this stuff, right? You got a lot of questions that don't make sense. Why is he a vengeful God?
Yeah, it's still taught.
Why does he hate women so much?
There's that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And foreskin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think as we saw before, right, the foreskin thing was a Hebrew practice for marking your slaves, right?
Yeah.
Because how else are you going to know, right? You can't really tattoo everyone and whatever.
Oh, they probably didn't have that back then.
Yeah, maybe. Hard to say.
Yeah,
I don't know how far tattoos go back, and fucking.
I think they found cavemen.
I think tattoos. You're right. I think that Otzi, the fucking the guy they found, I think he had tattoos.
He did.
Yeah. That's wild, eh?
The Maori had tattoos as tradition.
Oh, I heard something the other day that I forget who, where it was brought up, but Jesus was fucking covered in tattoos.
That's sick.
And they were all tattoos of the Kabbalah and just things that were supposed to be secret. So it was he would show people oh, this is the tree of life and whatever. And other people that were priests were like, fuck, this guy's telling all our secrets. It'd be if he was a magician going around and fucking being here's how you do the trick.
Well, that's my left arm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
see my thumb? Huh? See my thumb?
Yeah, I got the Kabbalist tree of life on there. And I was just like sitting around a group of friends before, going like, yeah, I know it doesn't, like one guy said, it doesn't make much sense. Why would you get the Kabbalistic tree of life when your grandparents were in the German army during World War II? And I don't know. I think it just looks cool. And then someone else said, no, it makes total sense. Isn't it the point of every Nazi to steal Jewish magic? I'm like, that's awesome. No, I don't want to be affiliated with Nazis, but like, I'll steal their Jewish magic.
So your grandparents, like they like did they ever see Hitler talk or anything like that?
No.
Did they hear speeches or anything like on the radio or something like that? Like
no, they were extremely cagey about it.
Like they just wouldn't talk about it?
Yeah, like I got bits and pieces, and the bits and pieces I got from my grandfather were just like, sometimes it was just like a little bit where like, man, there's a whole story around it, like him getting captured. He was fighting Russians specifically.
Sure.
Him getting shot out of a tree. He never told us, but we found out later from having his picture analyzed that one of his medals was for sharpshooting, for sniper.
Oh, wow.
Probably how he got shot out of a tree.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he had a giant scar on the inside of his. He was on the inside of his leg. He got shot.
Wow, he got lucky then.
Yeah, super
so someone
lucky.
Sharp shot him back. Is that the deal or what?
Yeah, got him out and he hit the ground unconscious. And they were walking by and he heard them and he just didn't open up his eyes.
Just played dead.
Yeah.
Wow, and they didn't check, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, well, I guess they saw the blood and
yeah,
we got him.
Wow.
Yes, or maybe he didn't, because he didn't elaborate.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. You know what? I've got a friend who had German grandparents as well, and it was the same thing. He's like, they never want to talk about it. Like, like they kind of talked about how they met. I think he was a pilot and his plane crashed, or like he had to land because he was out of fuel or something, but he like landed it in their field in this farm. And then he ended up like hiding in their barn or something like that, and like met their daughter, and like
But I did get my Oma to speak about it once. Like they're talking about it in school, Oma. When I was cooking with her,
okay,
just doing like the best German. Anyways, and she said, they said there was a group of people causing problem in society, and they wanted to get him out, so they said, okay, they put him on boats,
right,
and they put them to each country,
right,
to USA, to Canada, to everywhere. They said they put them and asked them, take these people away from us. They're causing too much trouble in our society,
and they wouldn't take them.
And they wouldn't take. She goes, even Jerusalem. They like that was like an underline where it sounded like it was a big part of the propaganda.
Yeah.
Even their home country doesn't even want them back. And we didn't know what to do. And then that was the last I heard of it.
Right. Yeah.
And then it was just war.
Yeah.
She sewed uniforms and the men fought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like if you've ever seen that propaganda film that they put out about the Holocaust, it was like, it's from like the 40s or something like that. Like right after, it was supposed to be from the liberation of the camp. And it's like, here we have a pile of shoes when the inmates were told to go in for a shower, But anyway, so like the whole thing, like they go through it, but then they go into like all the crazy shit. They're holding up shrunken heads and like lamps. And they're like, these lamps were made out of the skin of Jews, and it was like, now that shit's all been debunked. Like it was totally all fake. So no, all of it.
Well, all the
shrunken heads, all the
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all the like weird shit, right? The shrunken heads, the skin lamps, like you can find testimony of people like doing news stories on CBS or whatever, and they're like, oh, like I'm a survivor, and I was there, and they took me aside, and like me and another group of girls, they wanted to check our skin for blemishes, and like we were told we were going to be made into lamps, and then like then you find out like, oh, okay, well, that's not true. Like that whole thing was well proven by like the number one Holocaust experts in the world to be a lie.
Yeah.
Like a fabricated story that was put out during the war.
But that may be true. Like there's a middle to it. What I would argue,
that's right. They used to make soap out of them. That was a big
right.
one.
Yeah, that I heard that one. But what you can say is absolutely true. There was that experiment on the college students that had the jailer prisoner experiment.
The Stanford prison.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, where the jailers just became unreasonably,
Yeah.
just by human nature.
Right.
So by human nature, a bunch of these German guys had camps of people.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's going to be people lying about it. They were making babies in the closet, and one of the babies looked at me, and then yeah, some people are like that. That happens. But soup to nuts, it was a fucking bad time.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Or I don't know if that's the right saying for it. Just like very true. I don't want to undeniably.
Yeah, it was bad time, but the point was just like it's amazing the amount of propaganda they were putting out.
Yeah,
like this was a government made movie, and I just heard the other day. I got to see if it's true, but apparently that very movie was directed by Billy Wilder. Yeah, and it was like
who's that?
The famous director that I think he made like Breakfast at Tiffany's or something like that.
Oh,
yeah, he's like one of the old greats.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and anyway, that was like his first break into the industry, and it was like, oh, so he's making government propaganda films. That's his first kind of bust into the industry, and then all of a sudden he's in Hollywood. And I think that the connection there was like kind of trying to tie back and show like, do you realize how far back the CIA goes in Hollywood? Basically, like a lot of the stuff that comes from Hollywood, more than you would think, is run through a CIA lens. You know
what? Nobody has ever said in any of the top 10 videos or like conspiracy theory. No one ever named G.I. Joe. I know it just seems obvious, right?
That's probably the one they kept. They're like, you know what? We don't even need to. They're doing our work
obvious
for us. Too on the nose.
Well, back in, what was it, the 50s and 60s,
mm-hmm.
G.I. Joe was fighting Nazis.
Right, that's how he started?
Yeah, so that you can buy Nazi bad guys, Russian bad guys, fight communism,
really?
Fuck you, bah. And then all of a sudden for our age group, it was Cobra Commander. Cobra, la 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 la.
Yeah, the 80s.
Yeah. Why? That seems a little on the nose, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of.
You show the kids at this age, you train them to hate people in the sand that wear turbans.
Well, yeah, but they didn't really do that.
They were the snake people in the sand.
Well, there was only one. He was the only snake guy. That's the thing. All their bad guys were all different. Like, you got fucking Cobra Commander who wears a mask, first of all, so you don't actually see his face, so you don't really know. Then there's Destro, who also wears a mask, right? So you don't know where he's from, although I'm pretty sure he was Eastern European. His girl was the, what was her name? Fucking...
I don't know, she had the eye patch?
Duchess. No, he had the eye patch, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, no, she was...
correct.
But, yeah, so like, that was her. Then there was the guy who like kind of could camouflage into shit, right? He was like the guy from like the Bayou, right? Zartan. Then there was like the Ninja Brothers. They were like two white guys, like.
But who were the henchmen? Those were the generals.
Well, they were all the guys in masks. They all wore fucking silver masks, so you never saw any faces, right? They were kind of like stormtroopers.
And they didn't all come out of the sand most often?
No. They drove in the sand.
Okay.
I don't know. They drove through sand. And I mean, I think maybe that's where they were hiding out because, like, You know, like they needed bases. So whenever they showed fucking them hiding in their base, they would show some sand dunes and then a fucking building would pop out of the sand. So maybe that's what you're thinking.
Well, yeah.
But I think it was more just like, oh, like they're hiding in remote places. Like even G.I. Joe, I think, were like in a mountain, you know? Like that's
yeah,
where their
no, they
fucking
were.
fortress
Yeah.
was, right?
Yeah. So maybe it was just all addled up.
I think it was a lot more.
Brain,
I think it was a lot more innocent.
But I kind of feel like it was implied, like U.S. against that world. And then when we grew up to be of age to enlist, 9/11 happens. Yeah, let's go over there. Cobra, la 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 la.
I think it's more video games that would have contributed to that than anything like G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe would have the only thing that they were instilling there, I think, is the idea of like U.S. Army good and, you know, other people bad. You know, and like wanting you to like be patriotic and like, oh, I want to join the army and be like Roadblock or fucking, you know, any one of these Snake Eyes. Everyone wants to be Snake Eyes.
I want to shoot the red lasers, not the blue ones.
Right.
Yeah, they made it lasers because it was so much better.
Yeah, they're just like, they're always firing back and forth. No one's ever hitting anyone.
You know, like I've like someone saying, out of all the action movies that are out there, let's like watch the G.I. Joe cartoon and see what happens right off the hop. And it was a massive battle, half in the air, half on the ground, on the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
just like parachutes and like guns and bombs.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you know what? This is intense.
Yeah, and it went right off the bat there, you know? Like, that's episode 1.
Yeah, that was like even before a theme song. They were just like right into it. Like, holy.
That's why G.I. Joe was so fucking popular, man.
Well, I loved it.
80s cartoons were fucking, just a thing of beauty.
Well,
Ninja Turtles, like, you know, like, fuck, you know, do ninja moves and shit. And, you know, they're always cracking jokes that were actually, like, you know, funny for kids. I know they seemed funny.
You might have seen it on the YouTube there, what I was looking up. I had toys as a kid. And
me too.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody did. But there was just one of them that stuck out in my memory. And I was like, what the heck was that from? And somebody said, oh, that's the Inhumanoids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had the Lavatar, or was that his name?
Okay. I've never heard of them, I don't think. I had lots of them.
I just watched a video that was talking about how there was a group of 80s cartoons that were just, like, they were different.
Yeah.
And here's how they were different. Like, they had these writers, and they put extra effort into the story. Like, when you watch this, like, only 2-season run, like, it's got depth. Like, huge depth. Like, they're showing kids about, like, death and teamwork and this and that. Like, that's super progressive. Like, you got to think about the times. It was like, well, okay. And Humanoids was one of them. It was like a horror movie, but made in a cartoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was revisiting it.
Huh. I'll have to check into that. No, I used to watch, like, Centurions and, like, what were those ones? I forget what they were called. Like Legionnaires, I think, or something. They had like reflective holograms of animals. Like they were knights, ancient knights, but they had like holographs of animals that they could turn into.
Visionaries.
There you go. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I had the bad guys.
Yeah.
They were cloaks.
But they had all the better animals. All the bad guys were like fucking dragon and like gorilla, like, you know, a bunch of like strong animals. And like the good guys were like horse and fox and, you know, a bunch of bullshit.
It was saying that show was like the perfect blend of like every genre. Like it was like a little bit of like Dungeons and Dragons kind of shit, but like also future tech.
Yeah. And then
everything all at once.
Fuck. So yeah, and then like fucking Thundercats, right? Classic. Yeah, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Silverhawks. Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Partly metal, partly real.
Yeah. Yeah, Voltron, we can go on.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
I remember all of them.
But there was something different about it, you know? I don't know.
They were trying.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like
that's
you said,
what was
right?
different. It was new and they were trying.
They were trying to sell toys.
Well, not new. Yeah, I guess they had cartoons for a while. Like
He-Man, I know their storylines were like really like, you know, pretty depth, right? They were like full of depth, and they were always like, they would teach you a lesson at the end too. Like, I know today I had a fight with that guy, but like it's always good to try and work things out first, you know.
The show itself, I think, fucked me up in some kind of way. I don't know how, like,
it was those underwear of his, those fur underwear, like,
or it wasn't him I was looking at.
Oh yeah, Tila,
yeah, the chick that was bad, like it was sexualized.
Evil Lynn.
Yeah, I loved looking at those chicks.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen the movie Heavy Metal?
Yeah.
Where it's the cartoon?
Sure.
Yeah, and you know how it was a magazine?
Yeah, I've got them, yeah.
Yeah, you've got them?
Mm-hmm.
I've had a couple in my time. It reminds me of that. Like, it was like one story out of a Heavy Metal magazine.
Right.
That they made into like somewhat of kids, but actually, you know, like the real story is X-rated.
Right.
Yeah. That it was a messed up magazine, but it was good for like having the imagination, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I knew of the magazine, but I'd never seen it because, I mean, you'd have to like find it and buy it. And, you know, it was a whole thing to do right back then. But like, I remember watching the movie at like someone's house at a birthday party or something. You're like 15 or something. It's like, dude, you got to watch this movie. It's always like someone's like, my dad he showed me this movie, man.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's like cool dad.
Yeah.
Be like, fuck, my dad would slap me upside the head if he saw me watching that.
One of you has like a really thin, crooked joint.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, I wish.
Yeah.
No, I never got into that stuff.
Oh, yeah, not until later. Yeah. Hamilton, I get. Or I shouldn't say Hamilton, just me and my friends. Yeah. Well, anyways.
Yeah, let's get back to this transfer agreement thing. We'll finish this off and then we can get back to the movie because we sidetracked and then we sidetracked again. But so this was the original fucking Nazi plan. So some people in certain circles would argue that the final solution was this contract, that it was actually the Nazi plan for a time. Like it was official Nazi policy that the Jews were going to be put on boats and then put to Palestine. And then some people did receive them. Like they were starting to come over in small boatloads. And like they interviewed people in Palestine, like, you know, shortly after this happened. And they're like, I was in Palestine when they were arriving in boats and, you know, this and that. Like, so people witnessed it.
Well, it stopped.
Yeah, I'll play
sharing the screen.
Oh, did it? Oh, you did like a timeout on us. Are we still playing?
Yeah,
okay.
we're still playing. It's just like timed out on us.
It's weird. All right, here we go. See how this goes.
Oop, the other way.
That is
there. We
screen.
go.
All right.
Oop.
Roosevelt, the entire country's behind you, thrilled with hope and
Franklin Roosevelt.
But ominous headlines tell what's already happening to the Jews of Germany. The protest of American Jews was heard almost immediately. It was based on only the sparsest of press reports, and nowhere was that protest more vocal than here in New York City.
Yeah, I guess so.
All creeds, local and national organizations, and labor parties are joined in this gigantic demonstration passing through famous Washington Arch. Rabbi Stephen S. Wise, honorary president of the American Jewish Congress, leads the procession down Fifth Avenue on foot.
Father arranged for the first great mass meeting at Madison Square Garden to protest Hitler.
Ugh.
He felt
move's weird.
That when
I know.
freedom
It's
was
just the way it is.
Silence condoned oppression always.
Thousands who waited hours behind police lines rushed forward as the doors of Madison Square Garden are open. Jews and Gentiles join in the race for seats, and 22,000 of them get in.
I was a young kid then, you see, as a teenager. And I belonged to a Zionist youth group. And we were all summoned to go to that rally.
Hitler. Ooh. That was Hitler, I think.
Well,
a Hitler rally.
Very agitated crowd. Many Yiddish speaking. A few English speaking. And Rabbi Wise mounted an appeal to the Jewish people to do something to save Jewish honor.
Most of the important, well-established Jews were very angry at him, said this was sensationalism. and that if anything happened to the Jews in Germany, the blood of the Jews would be on his head.
Dr. Stephen S. Wise, rabbi of the Free Synagogue and the national leader of liberal thought, speaks in behalf of the Jews of the United States.
This is not a Jewish meeting. This is the conscience of America making itself felt.
Why is he talking like a fucking ghost?
Yeah.
The conscience of Nazi
Ghost of
Germany
Christmas
made itself
past.
felt 5 days later. Across
Maybe
the
he
Reich,
doesn't know how to
this.
yell.
shut down Jewish-owned businesses for 24 hours.
So this is in
Within
response.
days, American Jews marched calling for the boycott of all German exports. Jews throughout Europe echoed that call. So did Jews everywhere.
Okay.
But a group of
Okay, this is good because we paused it right in the perfect spot here. But you can see they had that giant fucking conference. I thought that was that Nazi rally that they held at Madison Square Garden. But this was a big, like, just a big congregation of Jews. No, that's what this was. Like a giant meeting of like all the heads of all the synagogues and everything, like everybody who was Jewish was coming to this big thing so they could discuss, hey, what are we going to do about our fellow Jews elsewhere that are being persecuted, right?
Right.
So here they say like, oh, we're here, we're the conscience of America. Then 5 days later in Germany, they started like, taking down fucking, anyone that was Jewish there. They started attacking their business, not attacking them, but like, closing them down and protesting in front of them and fucking harassing them maybe. Right.
Okay.
And then, I don't know if it was them here. We should go back like 30 seconds or 60 seconds. Because they were talking about there's a boycott that comes up here. And I can't remember if Germany did a Jewish boycott, and then there was a huge thing that this was the giant escalator, was that the Jews, like I think in this giant fucking meeting, decided all Jews, like they started putting out ads in all the newspapers, Jews of the world, boycott Germany, because of their atrocities to the Jews. So everyone, we're asking for a worldwide Jewish boycott on Germany.
Okay, for why?
Well,
okay, is this
they'll get into it. They'll get into it.
Okay, yeah,
they're going to finish it off here.
Jewish meeting.
Here, the ghost of Christmas past here.
The conscience of America making itself felt.
The conscience of Nazi Germany made itself felt 5 days later. Across the Reich, Hitler's troops shut down Jewish-owned businesses for 24 hours.
Only 24 hours.
American Jews marched calling for the boycott of all German exports.
There we go.
Jews throughout Europe echoed that call. So did Jews everywhere. But a group of Zionists at the same time was quietly negotiating an agreement with the Nazis to allow the immigration of German Jews and the transfer of their assets to Palestine. That deal, reported in August 1933, was the transfer agreement. Palestine, sparsely settled by Jews at the time, was radically changed as a result.
I lived in Palestine from 1933 to 1936, and we saw every week transports of German Jews coming to settle in Palestine. And many new professions were introduced by them into the country, and they played a leading role in making Palestine then a more advanced and progressive country.
Israel is really what it is because of the foundation laid by the Eastern European group, and then the lift toward an educated and well-organized government that came with the immigration of the German Jewish group.
German Jewish
those fake
settlement
books
of Palestine
behind him.
was, for a time, official Nazi policy.
Did he wear it on his shoulders?
Jewish life in Palestine, along with a lengthy text, appeared in 1934 in the Berlin paper Der Angriff. The publisher, Hitler's propaganda minister, Joseph Goebbels. A Nazi Visits Palestine was the title of the multi-part series. A medal was struck by Goebbels in commemoration. On one side, the swastika. On the other, the Star of David.
Huh?
Hitler demanded one concession for the transfer agreement.
That's
that the
interesting.
call for a boycott of the Reich, raised by Jews here and elsewhere, be rejected by the Zionists. The Zionists made that concession.
So they boycotted Germany, and then they said, we'll give you guys all the Jews if you take off the boycott, and he said, sure.
Jews were marching here, diplomacy was running a more important story. In the Mediterranean, where the dream of a nation-state for Jewish people came a step closer to reality. The story in this book some will find hard to accept.
My God, did my Oma give me a secret that...
But after...
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I bet she did.
I'm all with you. Go ahead and write it.
Because everything was exactly what happened, and that's the truth, and you cannot deny it. And the truth must prevail.
And I'm not worried by the people who will find the book in bad taste. The smart people, the intelligent people, the people who went through will understand.
The author is torn between two profound feelings.
I like his hair.
Yeah.
A Jewish state.
What is it with all these people? Why do all their fucking backgrounds moving like it's like made of paper?
Well, he has to retaliate against that silence, and he takes it out on others.
It was a quest. It took me around the world. Financially, it depleted me. Emotionally, it drained me. And as far as my being a Jewish person and understanding my Jewish identity and my relationship to Israel and the Holocaust, it has fulfilled me. It has given me identity.
That he tries to
I would have expected the opposite.
His own demons.
It's interesting because, like, most of the time when you uncover new truths about World War II and, you know, the Holocaust and stuff, it's Jewish people who are bringing forth that information, right? They're like, this doesn't quite make sense.
That he will not damage the people, the state, and the brethren and sisters whom he proclaims to cherish.
Did you find what you wanted to know?
Yes, I know what happened, and I know why.
The transfer agreement will be available shortly. Macmillan is the publisher. Deborah?
Thanks, Rich. Really interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
I it always throws me off with that fucking
Good
metal.
evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes.
Right? That, like, they've agreed to fucking send all the Jews to Palestine. That was how they were going to get rid of them. And they struck a medal, like a Nazi fucking symbol on one side, the Star of David on the other. Like, doesn't sound like quite the Jew hatred that people talk about, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, even with that thing where they, like, we're trying to get the boycott done, you know, like they shut down the Jewish businesses for 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, like that's...
And then cause the back and forth where he is negotiating with Jewish people from U.S.
Zionists specifically, right? Meanwhile, though the main, head of different Jewish leagues are like, we need to get rid of these Nazis and fucking boycott them and this and that. You know, then secretly there's a group of like 4 or 5 fucking high-ranking, you know, guys who are like, hey, we can do the greater good here and get rid of, you know, if they're getting rid of these people, we'll bring them over to Palestine and start getting that going, right? We want to reconstitute Israel here, so like we need our people there first.
So the one conspiracy that was thrown out that we talked about is that they sent a certain type of Jewish person over to that area.
Right.
And then exterminated a different type.
Yeah. So they were Khazar Russian Jews. I think that was the majority because, I mean, if you think about who was actually getting rounded up and stuff, it would have been the Jews in Germany, and then it would have been the Jews in, like, you know, Russia and, you know, those edges, you know, any of those places that Germany took over, Poland, all those places, right?
Now, see, that makes way more sense because Germany was fighting Russia.
Yeah.
So, like, okay, these Russian Jews, we can't have them. But that same event that my Oma told me about did happen. They did put him on a boat and put him back to Israel.
Right. I bet they did, right? And then they probably, you know, it seems like in Germany, when people were getting news it was like pretty accurate, you know what I mean? Whereas like the American people were getting fed their information, like, here's what we want you to believe. This just in, you know?
Yeah.
It was like those propaganda reels. Like, you know, people went to the movie theaters to go watch the news and stuff like that, right? And they play like the news reels in front of movies and shit like that.
So what we have to believe from that, though, that there was this big Zionist event at Madison Square Garden, and what was said there pissed off the new Nazi or old Nazi regime.
No, it was right when Hitler got in, basically.
Right when the
That's
brand
what sparked it.
Yeah. So in this new regime, they had this meeting where they were talking about world domination. They went, whoa, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
We're like a Trump kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're number one. We're the ones that are number one. And then they boycotted any of the businesses over in Germany. And then he starts negotiating back to America.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have they don't have a home base yet.
I think they said that they just said that they were Zionists. I don't know if they said they were American Zionists. So they could have been from, you know, Europe, right? All kinds of places.
Very true.
You know what? So side note here though, since we're looking at this fucking map.
Yeah.
Okay. Israel, right? Probably has the in this map here. Probably has the most Jews, right? Where would you say are the next highest amount of Jews on that map?
On the map?
Yeah, outside of Israel.
Oh, probably Egypt.
Okay. And then where would you think, like, probably, like, okay, let's say the top three. We got Israel. Israel's number one. What's number two? Egypt, you think?
Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon.
Okay.
Though those are easy ones because they're neighboring.
Right. The correct answer is number 2, Turkey.
Yeah.
Number 3, Iran.
Whoa.
Yeah. Iran has the most Jews in that whole area.
Plants.
Yeah, but who are they? Who's Israel fighting?
Oh.
Right. And why? Because they're worried about.
No. Like, not worried about anything. If you put a bunch of the
they're
people
saying Iran wants to exterminate every Jew, right? That's their whole fucking. Oh, Iran wants to wipe all the Jews off the map. They're trying to attack. You know, like that's why they're backing fucking Hamas, and you know.
Well,
that's their whole fucking argument is that Iran wants to exterminate all the Jews, right?
What we're kind of angling towards is that they would have struck a deal to get rid of the Russian Jews, and then went over to their, like, once everything was safe and the war was over, they did this to us. And then now they put their people over in Iran. They bomb the shit out of it.
Well,
you know, and
technically, if you are Zionists who are like, how are we going to get our land of Israel? You know, we need to put a bunch of Jews there. How are we going to get a bunch of Jews to show up in Israel like it's not a place yet, right?
Yeah.
Well, we need to get them displaced. Well, how do you displace a bunch of people, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's almost like maybe that was like almost a setup. You know, I mean, we've seen before how there's a good chance that fucking Hitler was the great grandson of Solomon Rothschild.
Yes.
Right?
Right, we did see that.
Yeah, because Solomon Rothschild, who was in Germany, I believe, he had a live-in housemaid, and she was Hitler's grandmother. And she ended up getting fired because she got pregnant. That's like, if you like follow, you know, the paper trail, all you know is that Hitler's grandma worked for Solomon Rothschild and was fired or let go when she was discovered to be pregnant. Then you find out that Solomon Rothschild was apparently like a notorious womanizer. Like, he was like all about town, sleeping with anyone he could. So you can imagine if like your employer is like in a randy mood or whatever, and you're bending over fucking dusting something or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, missus, get over here."
Yep.
You know? And then all of a sudden, oh, she's pregnant or something. He's like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Almost all of our top of the pile males act that way, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not, crazy to think that like a rich, super rich, privileged person would fucking treat someone like that, right?
Yeah.
And then there you go. You've got your fucking, an angry guy eventually, right? Because he's like, oh, like those, the people fucking kicked us out of the family and this and that, and who knows what.
Yeah.
And then, or maybe they kept an eye on that. Maybe they knew, and then like even though they let her go, I mean, we really don't know. Maybe he was paying her. Oh, like you can't work here anymore, but like I'll pay for an apartment for you, and
Yeah.
Because I mean that'd be a really handy thing if you like had secret children and shit like that. I mean, if you were like trying to do sneaky shit.
Well, I would imagine. It's probably not even true, but I imagine that the high up bands have a contingency plan for such things. Like, you're a manager of a band and one of your band members knock up a chick in a different state or province, I would say. I would make up a contingency plan of just like, oh, you knocked up another one, eh? Okay, well, I have the account right here and then hand over a bank card. And like, here's the kid's upbringing. Here's the thing for the college. Father's not going to be a part of his life, but it's paid for.
Right.
Bye-bye. Like, that must happen.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's Mick Jagger. I think, doesn't he have like 12 kids or something like that?
I'd imagine.
Yeah. And I think it's the same kind of thing. Like, just kind of goes around and.
Well, at one time he fucked anything that walked.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So who knows how many there really could be, right? Be like that fucking movie with Vince Vaughn where he's like fathering like 100 kids or 1,000 kids or something.
Yeah, that was through a sperm donor kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyways, okay.
Back to the Ring of Power.
According to Jewish historian and best-selling author Simon Schama, the Rothschild Zionists financed illegal settlements on Palestinian land.
Boo.
They now own 80% of the Palestinian land that they renamed Israel. What is a Zionist?
And like those images could have been taken yesterday.
Zionists are a minority of Christian and Jewish
true.
extremists who believe that the Jews have a God-given right to the land of Israel. Why? Because according to the Judeo-Christian Bible, God said so. But wouldn't that make God a racist God who favors Jews over all others?
I was taught that in grade school.
How big is the Promised Land? God's Promised Land to the Jews extends far beyond the borders of present-day Israel. It includes Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, half of Iraq, half of Egypt, parts of Turkey and Saudi Arabia, the modern state of Israel, as well as the West Bank and Gaza. The 9/11 attack on the World Trade Center in New York City served as the perfect excuse to justify bombing, occupying, disarming, and bankrupting Israel's Muslim neighbors. It also scared hundreds of billions of tax dollars out of traumatized American citizens. 9/11 was a Zionist...
Yeah, I just wanted to even add to that. When the U.S. went in to fight war with Iraq, right after 9/11 happened, they were extra pissed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're fighting for freedom in America. Not to, sorry to put it lightly like that, but they went in with their force.
Sure. Yeah,
I
remember
the American force.
Everyone was pissed, right? So they had like record amount of people signing up. Be like, send me over to fucking get those guys.
So, from what I heard, one of the first operations to show their might is to cut off all water supply.
Sure.
And think about the amount of death and saying to cripple those other nations.
Yeah.
Right off the hop, in the first couple of days, they would have been crippled.
And then just think about like the first wave of soldiers that goes through there. How well do you think they were taking captors?
Yeah, that was 30 years ago.
Yeah. But do you think they were like, all right, guys, just get down. We don't want to hurt anybody. Or were they like fucking like, get down on the ground. I'm going to shoot your wife here and her kid, trying to, freak them out, right?
Yeah, they probably had something similar to Pervin.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're just thinking, oh, these people are all animals, right? I mean, this is kind of like it's almost like a repeat of the whole Nazi thing, right? Because you like build up like this like feverish fucking, I don't know, anger for these people.
Yeah, you'll get 10 good soldiers, and then one soldier that's this jacked weirdo that's I want a dead body. Like, anyways,
false flag operation. Within 24 hours of the attack, America launched a Blame the Muslims campaign that ignited the Zionist war of terror on the Muslim nations surrounding Israel.
And I never knew that when I was a youth, but I just knew, I'm like, how did they know within 24 hours? I just thought that was weird.
Is to reclaim Jerusalem and rebuild Solomon's temple, which was destroyed by the Romans almost 2,000 years ago.
Just side note, but like, so this movie is like, I think 2008 or something like that. That's when this came out.
Yeah.
So this is like what, like 15 years ago, 17 years ago, something like that. So, this part that she's talking about, this is now. Right? This is where we're at. She's like, oh, eventually the whole plan is to take over Jerusalem. But first they got to get rid of the Dome of the Rock. Like, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that fucking Dome of the Rock is probably going to be gone within the next, 2 years, I would say.
If it isn't already.
No, it's still there. For sure. That would be, the news of the century if that thing was fucking destroyed.
Who controls all the news?
The Rothschilds.
Right.
They own Reuters and fucking the Associated Press.
So if anybody can pull off doing that, having it hit the news.
Nobody watches the news, though. I mean, that's
True
the thing.
enough.
They control the narrative. They don't get to control the news. That's the thing, right? So, people are going to fucking put out the news, and then they get to control the spin, right? The mainstream spin, anyways.
Yeah.
Today, Israel's Jews pray at the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, which is all that remains of Solomon's temple. The design and cornerstones for the new Solomon's temple have already been completed.
Every day,
this is what we watched last time.
Jews recite this prayer. May it be your will that the temple be speedily rebuilt in our own time. It's a prayer they prayed for almost 2,000 years.
So that's what every Jew is praying when they're at that wall. They're all praying the same thing, right?
Yep.
It's almost like the secret thing, right? How we were talking about, it's like manifesting, right? Because they're all focusing all their energy on that. And they've apparently been just saying that exact same prayer, all of them, for 2,000 years. So how crazy is it to think that maybe behind the scenes they're willing to fucking, oh, we need to speed this shit up a bit, trying to twist things to fit their fucking prophecy, right? If that's what you actually believe, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if we fucking let the water out on this dam and it floods this thing, that might just work out in our favor here, if we said the lake was going to be right there or what,
So I got a good horror movie idea for you.
Okay.
It's Final Destination mixed with The Secret. You pray at the Wailing Wall, I want this so bad. And then what they actually get is fucking snipers shooting children.
Yeah, that'd be a quick turn off.
Yeah,
people just be change. I want to watch fucking Yellowstone.
Yeah. Yeah, those rabbis have to watch a kid get shot in the face and be like, oh, well, I prayed for it.
That's the thing. The people that are actually, backing all this stuff, I don't think that they would worry about that sort of thing, right?
Well,
like even already when people are like, oh, like how can you see this footage? They're like, I know it's not good, but like it's war. What can you do? That's their thing. Like, what do you want Israel to not fight back?
Yeah, this is the same problem I have with the Christians with the child rape thing. Like if you're Jewish and you don't like it, stand up and say, hey, I'm not a part of this.
Right.
And there are people doing that. There are, like, a lot.
More than we probably know, right?
Yeah. Yeah, more than we hear, more than likely.
Yeah. There was like that story a little while ago. I saw someone like bringing it up again recently, but they're like, whatever happened to this? I think that's what it said. Like, whatever happened to this story? And it was like, it said like U.S. troops free 50,000 children from underground caves in 2024 or 2023 or something like that. Like in that whole year, they had fucking in different underground cave systems, they had fucking saved around 50,000 children.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, but I was like, oh fuck, I wanted to read more into the actual story. I'm like, where are these fucking caves? I mean, we remember that one cave at that synagogue or whatever, right? That they had.
Yeah.
Right? That was really weird. They had that fucking like stained mattress and there was like, car seats and fucking weird shit in there.
It went down forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah, there's something off about that. All right.
I got to become Jewish. I was just thinking to myself, if I ever become homeless, at least they might have an underground cave I can crash in for a little while.
Yeah.
Like you're at least safe if you're Jewish.
I would think like you should be like, can't you just go to any church and just like yell sanctuary and then they have to like keep you there? Isn't that still a thing?
You don't get to sleep there.
No?
No.
It'd be like when Julian Assange had to stay at the embassy for like 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do that?
Not at churches.
Well, they used to.
No.
That's like Quasimodo. It was like that's what he had to fucking like
maybe at one time.
Sanctuary. Yeah.
They do in temples.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, that's the religion you need to find out. I want to find out which one fucking will hold you in sanctuary if you need it.
Buddhist.
Yeah.
Buddhist in Cambodia. Like that you can crash at any temple. They're open with that. You can eat with them. You can crash there. You can do all that. They'll help you. That's the point. But if you start living there, you're a monk.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm remembering an episode of The Simpsons when like fucking Homer ran into the church and he was like sanctuary, and then the priest was like, "Why did I teach him that word?" So I wonder. I think it might be a Christian church thing.
Christians will put you back out on the street.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, that was a thing, but we don't really honor that anymore.
There's too many homeless people that know where we are.
So here we're back to John Dee, right? Who was the famous occultist that worked for Queen Elizabeth I, and he signed his name 007. So while you're looking at it though, but the idea was that it was a pair of spectacles, right? And the 7 is supposed to be the N, right? That sits on your ear.
Yeah. I see it.
Yeah. So that's where it comes from. Then if you're like trying to think, oh, what's this weird numerology and all that kind of stuff, right? I'm sure that possibly could add into it because I think 7 is an angelic number. And I think John Dee supposedly like met an angel with someone else and like they wrote an entire language, right? The Enochian language was written by him. Yeah.
You think
Enochian.
He would have had a mirror at that time, right?
To scry? Yeah.
No, even just to see his reflection. Like did he He like we got to appreciate that he put on that frilly thing around his neck.
I thought that was his beard.
No, it's the frilly thing from that time. He put it on, clipped it up, looked in his mirror, and went, sick.
Yeah. He's
sick,
like, I'm
John.
fucking pimping today. This is perfect for my portrait day. I got to hold still in this for fucking 7 hours.
Yeah. I got my cap to make me look like I have slick back hair.
Yeah.
My beard is.
Syphilis.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
Psychic espionage techniques, which we now